Ikasan online tutorials. My name is Michael Stewart and I am a core developer on the Ikasan Enterprise Integration Platform. And today we're going to be looking at the new Ikasan 4 release. An important new feature of Ikasan 4 is the automated backup of H2 databases. It is possible to configure an Ikasan integration module to take regular backups of its H2 database, rather than relying on other infrastructure-based backup solutions. This allows for the restoration of the H2 database file in the unlikely event that the database becomes corrupted. A H2 database backup is also initiated when an Ikasan integration module is shut down. The feature supports backing up of the default ESB database as well as an EAI database if there is one available to the integration module. The feature is also extensible and custom implementations can be provided if there are other H2 databases associated with the integration module. I'm going to run through a demonstration of how the Ikasan H2 backup feature works in Ikasan 4. We're going to be using my scheduler agent again that I used in a previous demonstration. And I'm just going to show you that this module is currently not running. We'll have a look at a couple of things in the property file and in the persistence directory, and then we'll start this module up. So there we've got no processes running there. If I open up the configuration file, you'll see here that what I've done is I've changed the schedule on which these backups will be taken. So instead of running on the default of every 5 minutes, I'm going to be taking a backup every 1 minute. And I've also just put the port off step to something that's quite arbitrary, just to make sure I don't get any port clashes when the process tests the validity of the database that's been taken as a backup. Also, if we have a look under the persistence directory, all we have there is our database directory file, as well as our migration manifest, which has been created when we migrated from the previous version of H2 to the new version, along with a version manifest, which is basically keeping details of the Ikasan modules version that we are running. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start that Ikasan module now. And I'm going to tail the logs and wait for that to start. Okay, I've been monitoring the logs and I can see now that that particular module has started. So now what we want to do is we want to have a look and see what's going on in relation to the database backups that might be occurring now. So if I have a look in the persistence directory again, you can see there a new directory is being created under persistence called ESB, which is aligned with the name of the database that we're taking backups of. So if I go into that directory, let's have a look and see what we've got there. Okay, so there's two new directories created under there. One of them is called DB Backup. Under there, we start to write the various backups of the file system, of the database that are being created. And under manifest, we keep a rolling file that basically is taking a notice of the state of the database that's backed up. Now, there's an important feature that users need to be aware of here. If a backup is taken and the backup feature determines that the backup is in fact corrupted, it will attempt to create 5 more versions of that database backup and test whether they're corrupted or not. If 5 of them are consecutively determined to be corrupt, the module is put, the flow that, all the flows in the module are put into a stopped in error state, and system operators will be notified of the fact that a database corruption has occurred, and a support team could be called out in order to remediate that problem. So we go back and we'll just have a look under the LS in the DB backup directory now. You can see that there's 2 backups there now, so they're occurring every minute. You can see here that the convention is to have the timestamp and the time associated with the backup, associated with each of the backups. And if we just monitor that for a minute, you'll see that we're currently rolling the number of files every 1 minute, and there will be a maximum of 2 of them created. So there you go. We can see that we've rolled over there. So we've got 20, 21, and 22 on the minute. And now we've deleted the one that was on the minute of 20, and we've got our 2 latest backup files created there in our backup directory. So that's demonstrated the backup working in practice. I'm going to just for the purposes of this demonstration now, I'm going to change a configuration property so that we retain more than just the 2 files. We'll retain 5 just for the purpose of this demonstration. Okay, I'm going to now change the configuration of the number of backups to retain. So I'll go into the application.properties file. I'll go down to here where my configuration values relating to the backups are, and I'm going to say we're going to keep 5 files now. So default H2 database is going to retain 5 files. I'll save that, and I will stop the module and restart it so that the new configuration values are picked up by the module. Okay, so I've made the configuration change. We're retaining 5 files now, and I've restarted the module, and I've been letting it run for a few minutes. So let's have a look in the persistence backup directory now. Alright, so you can see there we're now retaining 5 files. And that can be any number that you choose. The reason that 2 seems like a pragmatic choice is that it gives the opportunity for us to detect 1 bad backup and have 1 good backup sitting on the file system. But ultimately that's at the discretion of the user, how many backups they want to keep and how often they want to be taking backups. Alright, so now that we've seen our backups in action, we're going to have a look at how to actually restore from a backup if it's necessary to do so. So I'm going to stop our module. I'm going to go into our persistence directory. And you can see there we've got our ESB database, and I'm just going to delete that. Right, so that's in effect, we've corrupted our database. It's corrupt by virtue of the fact that it no longer exists. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the most recent backup of that particular file to this location. So it's this one here. And I'm going to unzip that file. You can see there we now have an ESB database file back on the file system. I'm going to remove the backup. And I'm going to restart the module. We're going to tail the logs and wait for that to restart. Okay, so I've been tailing the logs, and I can see that that module has successfully restarted due to this line here being logged to the log file. So what we've seen there is database backup files taken for the H2 database, and I've restored successfully from one of those backup files, and we've seen the application start cleanly based on the underlying backup that was taken. Now, there's one more important feature to consider in relation to the H2 backups, and that is the fact that every time a module shuts down, as part of the shutdown sequence, a backup of that database is taken. I'm going to demonstrate that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the configuration of this module. So rather than taking a backup every minute, I'm going to take one every 5 minutes. It's going to make it more easy for me to demonstrate this feature of taking a backup when the module shuts down. So there's our cron schedule running on every 5 minute intervals now. I'm going to stop the module. I'm going to restart it to pick up the new property file, the changes to the property file, and we'll come back in a few minutes once that's backed up a few times, and we'll take a look at the backup feature shutting that causes a backup to be taken when the module shuts down. Okay, so I configured that to take backups now every 5 minutes, and if I have a look in the backup directory, we can see there we've now got 5 backup files taken on the 5 minutes. So the purposes of this particular part of the demonstration now is to show you how a backup is taken on shutdown of the Ikasan module. So I'm just going to stop this module. Alright, so that's stopped. If we have a look in the backup directory again, you'll see here that this last backup here was not taken on a 5 minute, it was taken at 4:58, and basically that represents a snapshot of the database at the time that the module was shut down. So that could be useful if we were to restart that module and for some reason there was a corruption on the underlying database file. We know that we could restore it from the most recent version of the database when the module was last shut down. Finally, all of the details of the Ikasan backup feature is available in GitHub on the relevant README files associated with the H2 backup module. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to Ikasan Online Tutorials. If you'd like further information on the Ikasan Enterprise Integration Platform, go to github.com/Ikasan EIP. That's lowercase IKASAN uppercase EIP. All the links will be in the descriptions of the videos associated with the Ikasan Online Tutorials. And if you've liked what you've seen today, please subscribe to the Ikasan Online Tutorial YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.